Imagine a mind so powerful, so unshakable, that it doesn't just withstand pressure, it thrives under it. A mind that doesn't fold in the face of hardship, doesn't crumble in the midst of chaos, but instead stands tall, relentless, and terrifyingly calm. Now think about the kind of person you could become with that level of mental strength. A person who doesn't fear failure, doesn't run from discomfort, and isn't swayed by the opinions of others. What if I told you that this isn't some far-off ideal, but something that you can build, starting right now? This is the essence of Stoic philosophy, the art of mastering your mind, of forging resilience, discipline, and unwavering clarity. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to use these timeless Stoic principles to build a mind so strong, it will not only help you achieve greatness, but also make people pause, take notice, and perhaps even fear the quiet power you command. So, how do you build this unbreakable mind? How do you turn your thoughts, emotions, and actions into a fortress of mental strength? Stay with me. What you're about to learn will change the way you approach challenges, relationships, and life itself. Welcome to the world of Stoic strength, where a calm, controlled, and clear mind becomes your greatest weapon. Let's dive in. Part 1. The foundation of mental strength, Stoic resilience. The core of resilience. Embrace the uncontrollable. Mental strength starts with a profound understanding. Life is unpredictable. It's full of challenges, setbacks, and storms that we cannot control. The Stoics, the ancient philosophers who mastered the art of resilience, understood this fundamental truth. They didn't waste energy fighting the world's chaos. Instead, they focused on one thing: their response. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you react. This is the cornerstone of Stoic resilience. It's about accepting the uncontrollable and choosing to control your response with calm, clarity, and strength. When you stop trying to bend reality to your will and start bending your mind to reality, you unlock the true power of resilience. The power of perception, reframing the narrative. How you see the world is everything. The Stoics believed that the way we interpret events is what shapes our experience. It's not the event itself that causes suffering. It's our perception of it. For instance, when faced with adversity, one might see it as a tragedy, an injustice, but a Stoic will see it as an opportunity to grow, to test their limits, to rise above. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. The average person might get angry, frustrated, upset, but a Stoic? They recognize the situation for what it is, an uncontrollable event. Instead of letting it dictate their mood, they shift their focus. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this moment? How can I remain calm and composed? By reframing challenges in this way, they build a mind that doesn't break under pressure, but becomes stronger with every trial. Control the inner world, the power of discipline. In the pursuit of mental strength, discipline is non-negotiable. The Stoics practice strict self-discipline in every aspect of their lives. They didn't rely on external circumstances to dictate their peace of mind. Instead, they mastered their inner world, their thoughts, emotions, and impulses. This discipline isn't about rigid control or suppression. It's about choosing wisely in every moment. It's about understanding your emotional triggers and intentionally guiding your reactions. It's about waking up each day with purpose, setting clear intentions, and making decisions that align with your values. By cultivating discipline, you build an inner fortress that remains unwavering, no matter how the outside world shakes. Embrace adversity. Grow stronger through hardship. One of the most powerful principles of Stoic resilience is the idea that adversity is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. The Stoics believed that obstacles were not roadblocks, but stepping stones. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, to sharpen your mind, and to strengthen your character. When you encounter difficulty, instead of shrinking away or complaining, lean into it. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How can I use this hardship to become stronger? The Stoics knew that just like muscles grow stronger through resistance, so too does your mind grow stronger through adversity. The more you face and overcome, the more unshakable your mental strength becomes. Living with purpose, aligning with virtue. Finally, true mental strength is built when your life is aligned with purpose. The Stoics believed in living according to virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues are the foundation of a life well lived, and they provide the mental clarity and strength to navigate life's challenges. When you live a life driven by virtue, you no longer feel tossed around by external events. You have a clear sense of direction, a deeper sense of meaning, and a strong sense of integrity. Your mind is no longer subject to the whims of circumstance because you are anchored in something far more powerful, your values. This is the ultimate foundation of mental strength, a mind rooted in virtue, unshaken by external events, and always aligned with your higher purpose. In conclusion, the birth of a resilient mind. Stoic resilience is not an abstract concept. It's a way of life. It's about understanding what you can control and what you cannot. It's about reframing adversity, practicing discipline, embracing hardship as a teacher, and living a life of virtue. By building these foundations, you transform your mind into an unbreakable force, a mind that can withstand anything, conquer any challenge, and remain unshaken, no matter what the world throws your way. Part 2. Mastering your emotions. Emotional control in Stoicism. Understanding emotions. The Stoic approach. Emotions are powerful forces. They can elevate us, but they can also consume us. In the chaos of life, emotions often push us into impulsive reactions. Anger, fear, joy, frustration. For most people, emotions can feel like uncontrollable waves. The Stoics, however, saw emotions not as enemies to be defeated, but as signals to be understood. They believed that emotions arise from our judgments about the world, not from the world itself. The Stoics taught that we must first understand the nature of our emotions. Why do we feel anger when someone wrongs us? Why do we feel anxiety when facing the unknown? Emotions are not inherently bad, but they can be destructive when unchecked. The Stoics didn't seek to suppress emotions. Instead, they aimed to control them, to feel deeply, but to remain grounded in reason and virtue. The power of rational thought, responding, not reacting. One of the central tenets of Stoic philosophy is that we are not slaves to our emotions. We have the power to choose how we respond. Emotions are automatic responses to external stimuli, but they don't have to control us. The key is to pause and apply rational thought before reacting. Imagine you're in a heated conversation with someone. Your instinct might be to snap back in anger, to let the emotional floodgate open. But the Stoics teach us to take a step back, breathe, and choose how to respond. By doing so, you retain control over your emotions instead of allowing them to control you. The Stoic idea is simple yet profound. Emotions are not your masters. You are. The role of reflection, understanding the root cause. Every emotion has a root cause. The Stoics believed that by reflecting on the sources of our emotions, we could identify and remove irrational judgments that lead to negative feelings. For example, anger often stems from feeling disrespected or wronged, but when we examine the situation, we often realize that our expectations were unrealistic, or that the other person's actions weren't as intentional as we perceived them. By questioning our judgments, we remove the emotional charge. Instead of reacting from a place of anger or frustration, we can respond from a place of clarity and understanding. This process of reflection helps us gain greater emotional control over time, transforming our emotional reactions into calm, deliberate actions. The discipline of detachment, building emotional resilience. Detachment is not about withdrawing from life or becoming numb to emotions. It's about freeing yourself from unhealthy attachments and expectations. The Stoics believed that much of our emotional turmoil comes from our attachment to things, people, and outcomes that we cannot control. Consider how often we tie our happiness to external events. A promotion at work, someone's approval, or a relationship success. When these things don't go as planned, we feel disappointed or distressed. The Stoics, however, teach us to cultivate a sense of detachment. This doesn't mean indifference, but rather a deep understanding that our happiness doesn't depend on things outside of ourselves. By practicing detachment, we gain emotional resilience, allowing us to face life's challenges with composure and clarity. Embracing the dichotomy of control, letting go of what you cannot change. One of the most powerful lessons from Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. The Stoics divided everything into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot. Our thoughts, actions, and reactions fall into the first category, while the actions of others and the outcomes of external events fall into the second. By focusing only on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot, we free ourselves from unnecessary emotional turmoil. If someone insults us, we can't control their words, but we can control our response. If a situation doesn't go as planned, we can't control the outcome, but we can control how we deal with it. This awareness gives us a sense of emotional freedom, allowing us to navigate life with calm and focus. Emotional control is freedom, becoming the master of your mind. At the heart of Stoicism is the idea that emotional control is a form of freedom. When we allow our emotions to dictate our behavior, we become slaves to them. But when we take control of our emotions, we become free. We no longer react to life's challenges with impulsive or destructive emotions. Instead, we approach each situation with clarity, reason, and virtue. This control doesn't mean suppressing emotions or living without passion. Rather, it's about embracing emotions in a way that serves our higher purpose. By mastering emotional control, we open the door to a life of inner peace and resilience. Our emotions no longer control us, we control them. In conclusion, the strength of emotional mastery. The Stoic approach to emotions is not about denying feelings or avoiding pain. It's about recognizing emotions for what they are, signals, not dictators. It's about using reason and reflection to guide our emotional responses. It's about detaching from unhealthy attachments and focusing on what we can control. By mastering our emotions, we unlock a deeper strength within ourselves, one that allows us to face life with calm, composure, and an unshakable sense of purpose. Emotional control is not a one-time achievement. It is a continuous practice, a lifelong journey. The more you practice, the stronger you become. And as you grow in emotional mastery, you'll find that the world has less power over you than you ever imagined. Part 3. The Stoic Art of Self-Discipline. The essence of self-discipline, mastering yourself. Self-discipline is the foundation of a powerful mind. It's not about controlling others or forcing yourself into a rigid routine. It's about controlling yourself. The Stoics understood that the path to mental strength isn't paved with external accomplishments or praise. It's forged in the quiet, daily decisions you make. The Stoic art of self-discipline requires mastery over your impulses, your desires, and your actions. It's about developing the strength to act according to reason, not emotion. Self-discipline is about saying no to distractions, to laziness, to the easy way out. It's about committing to your principles, regardless of how difficult the journey might be. It's about living in alignment with your values and taking consistent, purposeful actions that move you toward your goals. When you embrace this level of discipline, you stop being a prisoner to your impulses and start being the architect of your destiny. The role of routine, building daily habits. The Stoics believed in the power of routine. Their daily practices weren't about mindless repetition. They were about intentionally cultivating habits that align with their highest values. A Stoic's day began with self-reflection, an examination of their thoughts and actions, and a commitment to being better than the day before. This routine wasn't just about achieving success. It was about building the character and strength needed to handle life's inevitable challenges. Routine is the bedrock upon which self-discipline is built. The Stoics didn't rely on motivation or fleeting emotions. They created rituals that became part of their lives. Rituals that reinforced their purpose, their values, and their commitment to inner strength. The simple act of following a daily routine might seem insignificant, but in reality, it's the small, consistent actions that lead to lasting transformation. Every decision you make, every action you take, builds upon the last, until discipline becomes second nature. The power of delayed gratification. Choosing the harder path. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoic discipline is the practice of delayed gratification. The Stoics understood that the pursuit of short-term pleasure often leads to long-term pain. Whether it's indulging in a fleeting desire or avoiding difficult tasks, instant gratification always comes at a price. The Stoic mind chooses the harder path because it knows that enduring discomfort now will lead to greater rewards later. This might mean passing up a tempting distraction to focus on work, or it might mean taking the time to meditate and reflect, instead of indulging in entertainment. Stoic self-discipline is about building the inner strength to resist immediate temptations and choose actions that align with your long-term goals. By delaying gratification, you strengthen your willpower and sharpen your sense of purpose. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about cultivating the wisdom to recognize that true fulfillment comes from long-term growth and progress, not temporary pleasures. Overcoming resistance, doing what you know you must. Self-discipline also involves pushing through resistance. There are always obstacles, internal and external, that try to derail you from your path. The Stoics, however, embraced these challenges as opportunities for growth. They understood that resistance is a natural part of life, and that growth happens when we confront discomfort head-on. Whether it's getting out of bed early, tackling a difficult task, or resisting the urge to procrastinate, every time you overcome resistance, you build your self-discipline. The Stoics didn't wait for motivation to strike. They acted because they knew that action, not emotion, is what creates progress. They didn't rely on external circumstances to dictate their actions. Instead, they understood that true strength comes from doing what needs to be done, no matter how difficult it might be. The role of reflection, learning from each day. Self-discipline is not just about rigid routines and constant action. It's also about reflection. Every day, the Stoics took time to examine their actions, their thoughts, and their behaviors. This daily reflection helped them evaluate whether they had acted in line with their values and whether they had made progress toward their goals. Reflection is a powerful tool for self-improvement. It allows you to learn from your mistakes, celebrate your successes, and identify areas where you can improve. The Stoics didn't simply go through the motions of life. They lived intentionally, always seeking to refine their character and discipline. Reflection isn't about being self-critical in a destructive way. It's about understanding where you've fallen short and finding ways to do better next time. In conclusion, the freedom of self-discipline. At its core, self-discipline isn't about restricting yourself or living a joyless life. It's about freedom. It's the freedom to make choices that align with your highest purpose, rather than being enslaved by impulses, distractions, or fleeting desires. The Stoic path is a path of empowerment. It's about taking full responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your life. When you embrace the art of self-discipline, you no longer live at the mercy of your impulses or the world around you. You become the master of your own destiny. You act with intention, with purpose, and with the strength to keep moving forward, no matter what obstacles stand in your way. Self-discipline is the key to building a mind so strong it cannot be shaken. It is the foundation upon which true mental freedom is built. Part 4. The power of stillness, quieting the mind, the importance of silence, creating space for clarity. In today's world, the constant noise of life, from technology to social distractions, often drowns out our inner voice. Yet, true strength is found not in the chaos, but in stillness. The Stoics understood this well. They knew that silence and solitude create the space necessary for clarity, reflection, and inner peace. By quieting the mind, you open yourself up to wisdom and insight that would otherwise be drowned out by the noise of the world. Stillness isn't just about the absence of sound. It's about the absence of mental chatter. It's about creating space for your thoughts to settle and your true desires to rise to the surface. When you embrace stillness, you are not trying to escape the world. Rather, you are finding the mental clarity necessary to engage with it fully and effectively. In stillness, you gain perspective on what truly matters, and from that place of clarity, you can make better decisions, remain calm in the face of adversity, and act with purpose. Meditation, the Stoic practice of inner peace. The Stoics practiced what we would now recognize as a form of meditation. It wasn't about emptying the mind, but rather about cultivating a sense of awareness and control over it. Through reflection and self-examination, the Stoics made room for deep thinking, allowing their minds to focus on their values, their purpose, and their progress. Meditation, for the Stoics, was a powerful tool for cultivating stillness. It wasn't about escape, but about grounding oneself in the present moment. By taking time to reflect on their thoughts, their actions, and their emotional responses, the Stoics could keep their minds free of distraction and focused on their highest goals. Meditation, even in its simplest forms, teaches us to observe our thoughts without judgment and to let go of the noise that clouds our judgment. Through this practice, you can learn to observe your thoughts, identify what is within your control, and quiet the rest. The noise of the world, recognizing the distractions. We live in a world that thrives on distraction. Social media, constant notifications, and the pressure to be always on can overwhelm our senses and make it difficult to find a moment of true peace. The Stoics recognized that much of this noise is external and unnecessary. By consciously choosing to disconnect from the distractions around us, we gain back our time, our energy, and our focus. Stillness is not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about taking control of where you direct your attention. When you spend too much time reacting to external stimuli, you lose the ability to respond thoughtfully. In contrast, by embracing stillness, you take back control of your thoughts, and in doing so, you regain control of your life. The Stoics believed that the mind, like any tool, must be sharpened and maintained. In an age of endless distractions, stillness is the key to keeping your mind clear, sharp, and focused on what matters most. The power of reflection, finding clarity in stillness. Stillness is a powerful ally in the practice of self-reflection. The Stoics understood the importance of looking inward to understand their actions, thoughts, and emotions. Reflection allows you to step back from the whirlwind of daily life and assess where you are, where you've been, and where you're headed. In moments of stillness, you can look at your life objectively and make course corrections that align with your values. When you engage in reflective stillness, you begin to see patterns in your behavior. You can identify what is working and what isn't. This self-awareness enables you to make intentional decisions rather than reactive ones. Reflection allows you to learn from your mistakes, celebrate your successes, and most importantly, gain the clarity you need to make better choices moving forward. In this way, stillness doesn't just provide peace, it provides insight, growth, and the opportunity to evolve into a better version of yourself. The strength found in quiet, resilience through stillness. In moments of stillness, we also discover a form of resilience that is rooted in calmness and clarity. The Stoics believed that true strength is not demonstrated through force or aggression, but through the ability to remain steady and composed, even in the face of adversity. In the midst of chaos, those who have cultivated the power of stillness are not swayed by external events. They respond with equanimity, maintaining their peace no matter the storm around them. Stillness builds mental toughness by teaching us to stay calm under pressure. When your mind is still, you can see challenges clearly without being overwhelmed by them. You are not driven by emotion, but guided by reason. This allows you to navigate difficult situations with composure and make decisions that align with your long-term goals, rather than being swept away by temporary feelings. The Stoic belief in stillness is not passive. It is an active choice to remain anchored in your values, no matter what life throws your way. Embracing stillness, a path to inner peace. In a world that constantly demands more of us, the practice of stillness is a revolutionary act. It's a decision to slow down, to listen, and to find peace within. The Stoics knew that true peace comes not from external circumstances, but from an internal state of mind. Stillness allows you to cultivate that peace and to carry it with you through life's challenges. By embracing the power of stillness, you gain access to a deeper level of clarity, strength, and resilience. You no longer live at the mercy of your thoughts or emotions. Instead, you become the master of your own mind, responding with calmness and purpose to everything life throws your way. Stillness is not just the absence of noise. It is the presence of inner peace and wisdom. It is the foundation upon which mental strength is built. Part 5. Harnessing the power of impactful action. The Stoic focus on purposeful action, aligning thought with deed. The Stoic philosophy isn't just about thought or contemplation. It's about action. It's not enough to simply understand what is right, wise, or virtuous. You must act on it. The Stoics believed that the power of action lies in its alignment with your core values and beliefs. It's about making each decision and every move intentional, with purpose, and focused on what truly matters. Action, when done with intent, can move mountains. It can turn abstract philosophy into tangible results. However, Stoics caution against the temptation of reckless or impulsive action. True strength is in the calculated, purposeful steps we take. It's about being deliberate in the way we live and the impact we have on the world. In each action, we either move closer to our goals or further away. The Stoics taught us to always act with a sense of duty to our own virtues and to the greater good of humanity. The power of consistency, taking small, deliberate steps. We often think that impactful action requires grand gestures or immediate results. In truth, the most powerful actions are often the small, consistent steps that lead to lasting change. The Stoics understood that true progress doesn't come from moments of brilliance, but from the steady, persistent work that accumulates over time. Consistency is the backbone of meaningful action. It's not about how fast you move, but about how determined you are to keep moving in the right direction. Even when progress seems slow or unseen, those small actions compound, shaping your future. The Stoic perspective teaches us that discipline and persistence in our actions day after day will ultimately lead to the transformation we seek. It's this relentless pursuit of improvement, no matter the scale of each step, that creates true impact. Acting with integrity, staying true to your values. Another key to impactful action is integrity. Acting in accordance with your deepest values, even when no one is watching. The Stoics believed that true strength is not shown in how we act in the public eye, but in the choices we make when faced with difficulty or temptation. Living with integrity means making decisions that reflect your moral compass, no matter the external pressures. When your actions are driven by a clear sense of purpose and integrity, you build trust, not only with others, but most importantly, with yourself. The Stoics taught that our character is revealed through our actions. Every choice we make either strengthens or weakens the foundation of who we are. And when we act in alignment with our values, we create a life of meaning and significance, one that will stand the test of time. Embracing challenges, transforming obstacles into opportunities. Action, according to the Stoics, isn't always easy. In fact, it often involves embracing challenges and difficulties. The Stoics believed that obstacles weren't something to be feared, but opportunities to demonstrate resilience and strength. Every challenge presents a chance for growth, for testing our mettle, and for proving to ourselves that we have the courage to face whatever comes our way. Rather than avoiding discomfort, the Stoics embraced it. They knew that it was through adversity that they would develop true mental toughness. By approaching life's difficulties with the mindset of using them as fuel for growth, you turn each obstacle into an opportunity for deeper insight, self-discipline, and strength. The Stoic approach to action teaches us that it's not the absence of struggle that leads to greatness, but the ability to persevere through it with clarity and composure. The ripple effect. Understanding the impact of your actions on others. Lastly, Stoic action is never isolated. Every decision we make has a ripple effect, influencing not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us. The Stoics were keenly aware of the interconnectedness of all people. They understood that the way we act, think, and live can either uplift or harm others. Impactful action, therefore, requires an awareness of the consequences of your behavior on others. A Stoic approach to action means considering how your decisions contribute to the welfare of your community and the world at large. It's about realizing that even the smallest actions, when done with integrity and purpose, can inspire others to do the same. In this way, each person who practices Stoic principles becomes part of a greater movement, working together to create a better world. The ripple effect of your actions is profound. Whether you're influencing your family, your friends, or even strangers, your behavior can serve as a model for others. In this way, Stoic action is not only about personal growth, but also about leaving a legacy of wisdom, compassion, and strength that will resonate long after you're gone. Conclusion: the enduring power of impactful action. Ultimately, impactful action is the cornerstone of the Stoic philosophy. It is through our actions that we demonstrate our true character, align ourselves with our values, and create a lasting impact on the world. The Stoics teach us that no matter the scale of our actions, every step taken with purpose, integrity, and perseverance is a step toward a life of meaning and significance. To harness the power of impactful action, you must live with intention. Each choice you make should reflect your core values, and each action should serve as a testament to your commitment to personal growth and to making the world a better place. The Stoics believed that we are defined not by our thoughts, but by the actions we take. And so, in every moment, you have the power to shape your future. One deliberate, meaningful action at a time. Conclusion: to build a mind so strong it terrifies people, the Stoic philosophy offers us timeless wisdom and actionable steps. Mental strength isn't just about enduring hardship or surviving challenges. It's about shaping our mindset, making deliberate choices, and acting with integrity. It's about cultivating resilience, mastering self-discipline, embracing stillness, and taking meaningful action that leaves a lasting impact on the world. By focusing on the foundation of resilience, we learn to face difficulties head-on, knowing they are opportunities for growth. Through self-discipline, we master the art of controlling our impulses, allowing us to act in alignment with our values, even when it's tough. The power of stillness shows us that true strength comes from quieting the noise around us, allowing us to think clearly and act decisively. And when we harness the power of impactful action, we understand that our decisions and behaviors ripple out into the world, influencing not just our own lives, but those of others as well. In the end, building a mind so strong that it terrifies others is not about power or domination. It's about mental clarity, emotional resilience, and living a life of purpose, guided by the principles of Stoicism. It's about becoming someone who is so grounded, so composed, and so intentional in their actions that they command respect naturally, without ever needing to force it. Remember, the true power lies in how you respond to life's challenges, how you act in the face of adversity, and how you remain true to your values, no matter what the world throws at you. The Stoic path to mental strength is not an easy one, but it is the most rewarding. So, begin today. Embrace the teachings of Stoicism and build a mind so strong, so unshakable, that you will inspire, influence, and lead. Not through force, but through your unwavering commitment to living with wisdom, strength, and purpose.